Welcome to Topsail Insider, where you can hear all about the businesses and events in the beautiful coastal towns in the greater Topsail area of North Carolina. Coming up, we are starting Season 2 with a focus on helping our local small businesses, whether one-person operations or with minimal staff. If you are stuck working in your business instead of on your business, but you're aiming to scale and take it to the next level, listen up. Colin Pemberton, owner of Dyno Digital, has developed remarkable software for service-oriented small businesses. It facilitates seamless communication with leads through streamlined websites, AI-driven text messages, enhanced Google search rankings, and just so much more. And stick around till the end. Colin is offering a free online presence evaluation for all local businesses on today's episode of Topsail Insider. Experience a new level of luxury on Topsail Island at Saltwater Suites in Surf City, North Carolina. With no nightly minimum, you can enjoy short getaways or an extended stay. Each suite features luxury bedding, full kitchens with dining tables and dishwashers. And all suites other than the 3 ADA suites have full-size washers and dryers. And don't forget about those beautiful ocean views. 24/7 self-check-in provides a hassle-free and seamless experience. Saltwater Suites is the perfect choice for your next beach getaway. Book your next Topsail visit at saltwatertopsail.com or call 910-886-4818. Saltwater Suites, Topsail Island's premier luxury hospitality experience. Welcome back to the Topsail Insider Podcast, Season 2. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and a fantastic start to 2024. I know I did. My name is Krista, and I am your host. So starting Season 2 today, we're going to start with Mr. Colin Pemberton. He is the owner and CEO of Dyno Digital. Welcome, Colin, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
So let's talk about what Dyno Digital is and what you do. Can you give us just a really brief overview of Dyno Digital and its primary mission? And we'll go over the details later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Dyno Digital is the end-to-end marketing company for small to medium-sized businesses. We say our mission is to help businesses streamline their business growth through innovative technology, marketing strategy, and consulting. Mm-hmm. So we do a little bit of everything, right? So we do SEO, search engine optimization, digital advertising, website design. We also do operations consulting. So we'll step in as a fractional COO to help businesses scale to that next level. So it's super fun. It's always changing. And yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's what we do.
How did you get started in marketing websites and the software development? And what inspired the founding of Dyno Digital?
I've always been into computers, online, social media, things like that. I worked in the trades growing up. My family, they were all tradesmen. They all own their own businesses. Every single person in my family is an entrepreneur.
That's great.
Literally almost every single one of them. Growing up, my first job was actually for a company called Science Fund for Everyone. So I started when I was 16, and my boss at the time, his name was Jimmy, was just super innovative. He showed me what it was like to run a real full-size company.
What was it called again?
It was called Science Fund for Everyone. So we taught roughly 80,000 kids a year science programs. I eventually worked my way up to be an office manager and actually teach science programs to elementary school kids. And so in that, I had a lot of opportunity to see how they marketed their business. And I would say that kind of was what got me thinking, oh, wow, this is a really neat way that you can grow their business. Watch them get their website designed. And it was just really cool. Fast forward a couple years, I started working as a foreman project manager for a company called Grand Entrance Group, going back into the trades, right? And they were a smaller company at the time. There was only a couple of us. And in that, I also was helping with some marketing. So I was always just interested in it, but I never really put it into practice.
The marketing aspect of both of those companies.
It was really piquing my interest and allowing me to really learn about it. And once I was to a point to where I had done some marketing for the company that I was working for, helped coordinate a lot of like their social media content and stuff like that. When I was no longer working for that company, 2020 is when I decided I wanted to go full scale
Oh,
into
wow.
like marketing.
Okay. Yeah. You really
Right.
loved it.
Yeah, I really liked numbers and data and stuff like that. We had a friend at church who was doing web design who currently had a marketing company. So I just reached out. I was like, hey, I'm really trying to get my foot in the door and start this marketing thing. And she was able to say, hey, okay, I have some clients that might be interested in some advertising. So early 2020 is when I ran really like my first, I would say like official, somebody paid me to run their Facebook advertising. We started with a very small budget. We took $100 and turned it into like $4,000, right? And that was like, oh, wow, we can really do this. This could be something that we could offer. And that's when we launched our first company. The first company was Raleigh Marketing Co. So we did that for a little bit. And then she ended up going and getting her real estate license. So I took off with the marketing stuff. I stayed operating as Raleigh Marketing Co. up until this past year, until early 2023 is when we rebranded to Dyno Digital.
You did mention that a lot of family members had their own businesses. In our pre-interview, you said that they were one-man bands, so to speak. Tell the listeners how you decided to take what you were doing and develop it in such a way that it was helping those one-man bands or the one-man shows.
Yeah, so my dad, growing up, always owned a lawn care and tree service company. At one point, he had a few employees, but for the most part, it's just always been a one-man show. I have an uncle who ran a pretty large construction company. My other family member here, they do auto glass. Again, one-man show, nothing like, not like a huge, big company. I guess growing up, I was just able to really see like how those businesses operate and know that there's ways that like a one-man show with just a little bit of systems and processes and a little bit of predictable client acquisition strategy could grow to having 1, 2, 3, even 4 employees and help them remove themselves from the business, right?
I think as a one-man show, you're working.
Right.
You're physically working in the business. So you don't have a lot of time to work on the business. You don't have time to make it grow because you're always in the weeds. You're doing the work. When I first interviewed you, I actually thought you build websites and you do some advertising, and I got all that. What I was fascinated by after we talked, and then I started researching, I actually called Colin back and I said, I need to see the software that you created because I'm not understanding it fully. And so you created software. It's a service that you're providing to these one-man shows that really helps them grow their business. And I think it's something that's so beneficial and something that I really love about your company. You've created the software that is going to help them get leads and communicate with them. Tell me what you saw with your family members and how you wanted to help them.
So at the time, it wasn't so much with my family members, but some of those earlier clients that I was running ads for, maybe a roofing company, will run these ads on Facebook based on whatever service they're trying to push. We'd run them. Somebody'd put in their information like I need a quote, and Facebook would send us contact information. We'd forward that email to the client, say, hey, this person's interested. These are one-man shows right there. If it's a roofer, they're probably up on a roof. They're probably talking to their contractors. They're talking to, a supplier, right? So
they may not even read their emails that day.
And most of them didn't. They would call them back maybe a couple days later, 3 days later after I'd texted them. And they already found somebody, right? So what that ended up being is, hey, these leads are not good leads. They're bad leads. No, they're not bad. They're just, you didn't follow up in time. And that's...
And understandably, no judgment.
No,
we get it.
Yeah. So that's how Dyno, the software, came to be, right? We tell people that it is, our main hashtag for it is like hashtag one tab, right? Because we want people to run as much of their business as they can from a single tab in their Chrome. So everything from communication to invoicing to proposals to their marketing campaigns to internal operations and sales. So now when we're running these ads, we're not just saying, hey, you have a new lead. It's the software, when the prospect follows through this funnel that we've created, now we're able to start that conversation using artificial intelligence. But really, it's more, we try to keep it as personal as possible. We just want to start the conversation. So when somebody follows through the funnel, they're going to immediately get a text that says, hey, this is John with John's Roofing. I saw you reached out through the Facebook ad. Do you have some time to chat this afternoon?
Okay.
And
So a
that's
lot of
coming-
automation that's already
Yeah.
built in. I got a response. I'm going to stick around till I hear back from them this afternoon.
Yep.
Okay. I love it.
We try to do text messaging first, right? So SMS first style marketing. Texts have a roughly 98% open rate.
Oh,
Emails
really?
have around 3. Yeah, because nobody wants to see
Wait,
their...
what? Say that again?
Yeah, so text messages have roughly a 98% open rate because people don't want to see those little numbers on their main home screen. Email marketing specifically has roughly around a 3% open rate.
Very interesting information to have.
Yeah. So when you're doing like cold outreach, cold email, because people can have custom spam filters, text messaging, it's a lot more personal, right? When you send an email, typically people are going to try to write more professionally, more composed. And a lot of people are going to see that as like an automated message. So when you reach out to these people through text, it's more personal because that's what people do in their personal relationships, right? So we text them and then they're going to respond to that message because our first message is usually, hey, do you have some time to chat this afternoon? They're either going to respond yes or no, right? Positive, and that's called our intent, right? So there's positive intent and negative intent. So when the person, and I might be going a little too technical in here, but...
No, it's okay. I love it.
Yeah. So basically when that prospect says, hey, no, I'm sorry, today's not a good time, the software can recognize that and then we'll send like a follow-up. Oh, is there another time that works best? Yeah, sure. You can call me tomorrow at 2 p.m. Once they say that and we get that...
This is all automated.
Yeah. And once we get that positive intent, that's just going to notify our client on their app and say, hey, call Joe Schmo over here to get he's looking for a roof.
Does your client have to log into your software to get that message, or is there a way that it goes right to their phone or some like an instant notification, like you've got a hot lead right now, act on it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it has an app. So the software so you can look at it on the computer. You can respond directly on the computer, or you can also, there's a very simplified version of it on the app that has the communication aspect, the invoicing aspect. Obviously, you're not going to be like building your automations and stuff through the app, but it is a very good way to communicate. You can call, text, email, all from the app, right?
Also, on the app on your phone, when you're out working, you'll get a notification on your phone.
Exactly. Push. Yeah, you get a push notification, right? So we'll send the push notification after we get that positive intent, or say the prospect doesn't respond. We have a couple options. It really depends on the client. Some people they don't want to sound impersonal. They want to be more involved with it. If they're like, hey, I want to be more involved. If they don't respond after about 2-3 hours, we'll just send our client a push notification that says, hey, this person came through our ad. They didn't respond. Give them a call. Some people want to call, or we'll just shoot another text message or, hey, I'm wrapping up my day. Do you want me to swing by, or can I give you a call on my ride home or something like that, right? We try to make it very personal. I've even gone to the point of automating spelling errors because it makes people think like that they're not talking to an AI at this point. So we've done some pretty creative things with the SMS and the automation and the follow-ups and stuff but it really comes down to advertising is extremely expensive now. So if you're spending the money, we want to make sure that we're converting at a much higher rate. We have 5-second attention spans. And if you don't follow up with somebody and you're not being diligent, then
they move on.
They move on. Yeah, exactly. That's really the biggest thing. One of the other big parts of the software, especially for like contractors and stuff, is a very simple, which is just missed call, text back, right? So if they call the phone number that's associated with the business and they don't answer, it'll wait a couple seconds and it'll just shoot them an automated text that says, hey, hey, I'm up on a roof, or hey, I'm in a meeting or something.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so do you mind if I give you a call a little bit later, or do you mind shooting me some information and I'll give you a call, right? So rather than somebody calling, not getting an answer, and then just going down Google and calling the next person.
Yeah. And it happens really fast.
Yeah. And that one's a tough one, right? They're going to know that's automated, but the fact that you did have something set up where they can just text you, now you're in their mind, because rather than having just a one-time touch point, called, no answer, on to the next.
Yeah.
You called, no answer, but then they texted you back.
Yeah.
Right? So now
I wouldn't have known that was automated. I was like, oh, he's on a roof and he took the time to stop and text me back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the foundation behind the software, right? Just trying to make these one-man bands or these business owners that maybe have a few employees, but they're still super busy, because not everybody is at the point, me included, where you can just sit back and work just on the foundations of your business. Right. It's really cool to show this to people and say, this is like the first step to removing yourself from the business and thinking in terms of scalability. You can actually scale your business and you can remove yourself.
And you can start working on the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that part. I know you have a lot of services that you offer. We're going to get into all of them in detail. But I love the fact that Dyno Digital has created such a great way to help the small businesses. And I interview small businesses. And so my love is with these people who need the advertisement and need the help to grow their business. And I think that you are doing such a great thing for the little guy.
I appreciate it. That's our main mission. I say our vision is to help every small business in North Carolina get on the map.
I love it. So moving on to the products and the services that Dyno Digital offers, let's go ahead and start with the digital ads and the local SEO services, because SEO is such a big thing right now. Maybe it's been a big thing for a long time, but I'm finding it to be so critically important to even what I'm doing when I'm advertising the podcast. Let's talk about the digital ads first and tell me what you do as far as driving leads with digital ads.
Yeah, so you have two options, right? Advertising in general. You have Facebook and Instagram, and then you have Google ads. And typically when I'm working with small businesses, it really comes down to how much are you willing to pay to get a client? Because it is a little bit more expensive.
Google ads are crazy expensive.
Yeah, so last year when we were expecting our youngest son, I made the decision to go and take a job at a corporate company, just have a little bit more stability and take a step back from Dyno Digital and kind of work on removing myself from the business and hiring and figure out how to scale it. And in that, I was actually a marketing performance manager for a pretty large company. I managed the advertising for roughly 50 large car dealerships in the Northeast. And that's where I realized how expensive Google ads really are. We had Volkswagen dealers that were paying $35 just for one click to their website at a maybe have a very small conversion rate on their site. They're paying $30, $35 just for a single click. Yeah, just for one click. So the largest advertising budget that I helped manage was $70,000 a month. They were spending $70,000 per month.
That's insane.
And that was like a group store, right? So they had a few other dealerships, so it was all broken out, but in total, they were spending between Google and Facebook, mostly Google, $70,000 every single month.
No small business around here can afford that.
No, exactly. Say you're a small car dealership, right? It's going to be very difficult to beat these guys that have the brands in that industry, right? The brand. So say if you're a Volkswagen dealership, Volkswagen's also giving you money to spend on the advertising. So if you're like a used car dealership, it's going to be very hard to compete with those guys. That's where the SEO aspect comes in. When somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to run Google ads, the first thing I'm going to ask is, how much are you making a year? What's your profit margins? There's a lot of questions that I want to go into, because last time I looked, last advertising campaign that I ran for a roofer, we were paying roughly $15 a click for the term roofing or roofing services near me. So with that being said, if you have a small budget and you only want to allocate $500 or $600, $700, maybe $1,000 a month to advertising, you're going to have to understand that typically you're going to be paying a lot of money just for a click on Google ads. With Google ads and even SEO, we always tell people you can't create demand. You can only capture the demand that's there. People aren't going to Google just to scroll like they are on social media. And that's how Google kind of determines how much to charge.
That per click dollar figure. Okay.
Yeah. And so
it's not the same for everybody.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
So some industries you can get away with, you might look at $1 or $2 a click. Like the more competitive ones, roofing, contractors, things like that. People that have high profit margins are typically willing to pay more money, obviously, for a click, because if they have a 60% profit margin on one of their jobs, it's okay for them to spend $200 to get a client, because their jobs that they might do might be 10 grand.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But if you're a small business,
let's say a bakery.
Yeah, bakery, and your average sale price is, let's just say $50, it doesn't make sense to pay $50 to get that person in the door. So that's like the Google aspect of it. That's where Facebook can come in. Facebook, we can get client acquisition down a little bit, because you can also create that demand. So if you go on Facebook, you might not be thinking of going and buying a box of cookies, but we're able to pay a very small amount to show our business to this individual who obviously there's some targeting and stuff in there
like location and age,
interest
and
that we're going to do. What that allows us to do is when we run these campaigns, then we can now create that demand on Facebook by showing the advertisement that we're running. So with Facebook ads, you have, and I don't want to go like too crazy technical into it, but with Facebook ads, you have really two types of campaigns. You have conversion campaigns, so campaigns that are driving traffic to, say, your website, driving traffic like away from Facebook and trying to get their information. That's going to cost a little bit more. And then you also have a brand awareness campaign where you're just paying for every time where you show up on somebody's feed. So that's how you can start with a much smaller budget, and you're paying per 1,000 impressions, right?
Yes.
So you might pay $2 or $3 to show your ad to 1,000 people.
What's the difference between reach and impression?
So reach is how many individuals exactly how many people you've actually reached, right? If somebody
through their feed.
Yeah, through their feed. Mm-hmm. So if you were scrolling through Facebook and you scrolled right past that bakery advertisement and you didn't even stop and look at it, that's technically reach because it reached your account. Now, if you stopped and read it and read the caption or maybe clicked on the picture or something, that's an impression.
Gotcha.
Right? Because you have to look at it for, I can't remember the exact time. I want to say it's maybe 2 seconds for it to count as an impression. And then you also have engagement, which is if somebody, say you have a long caption, if somebody reads it for more, I think it's 10 seconds counts as an engagement.
Okay.
Or if they like or share. Right?
I was about to say, so they don't even have to like or share or comment. They can just look at it for a certain amount of time, counts as engagement. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that either.
So the ultimate goal with running Facebook ads is we can start with a little bit of a smaller budget because we're going to run that brand awareness campaign. And then Facebook has more data to say, okay, this style of person was more interested. So I'm going to show this ad to more people
like
this person.
Oh, that's cool.
And then that allows us to, build an audience and then show our ad that we ultimately want people to click on and either go to our website or fill out a form on Facebook. So that helps us keep our costs down a little bit. I typically tell business owners, especially with advertising, that if you want to be on Google and you want your name to be the first every single time, it's going to cost a lot of money. Right. You can do it. I think as consumers, I know me personally, I scroll past the ads.
I have started doing that as well.
Because a lot of times budgets are paying for that when in reality, when you click on it, it's really not exactly what you were looking for in the first place. So typically, if I'm looking for a service, I go to the Google My Business section. I go to the 3 beneath the advertisements, which goes into local SEO.
So let's drive that home. So when you're doing your Google search, the first 3 that populate up there at the very top, those are sponsored ads, Google ads. Mm-hmm. The very next 3 are...
We call it your map pack. So your Google My Business profile or Google Business profile, as they call it now. So if you're a small business owner, especially if you have a single location, like a brick and mortar location, you've probably gone on Google, put in your information. They used to mail you a postcard that you'll verify that your business is here. That's for Google to say, this is in the proximity of where you're searching.
So when people say some business near me, they use that pool to pull from.
Yeah, because
based on the map.
Yep.
Based on the map pack.
The map pack. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we call it the map pack. So advertisements are typically taken up by bigger companies that have large budgets that not everybody can compete with. Map pack is, I say, free game. And then the next section down, the organic listings, a lot of times those are taken up by Angie's List, Yellow Page, the bigger directories, right? Because they have huge marketing teams, right? So they have a lot of content and top five restaurants in Topsail. So moving away from advertising talk and moving into SEO, we really focus on the 3 results underneath the advertising before the organic listings.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about SEO.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. And how you can help us that don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Like myself. Mm-hmm. And say it again. SEO is?
Search engine optimization.
Okay.
So basically think of it, the reason that we go to Google is because we can trust that when we put a search into Google, we know that it's going to spit out relevant information. And that's basically how we're optimizing for the search engines to read our digital presence that we have online.
It's scanning our content that we have out there.
Yep, scanning your website. It looks at everything in like a millisecond, right? It's looking at your Facebook, it's looking at your social media, it's looking at your Google business profile. What a lot of people do is they'll set up their Google business profile. Google's only going to ask you like 5 or 6 questions. Where are you located? What's your business name? What are your main services? And then it's going to just say, okay, now congratulations, like you're on Google. What a lot of small business owners don't realize is that there's so many categories when you get into Google My Business to allow for us to put more relevant keywords based on your business. So a keyword is basically, if you're a contractor that does hardwood flooring, hardwood floor install, or LVP flooring, those are like keywords that are relevant to your business. So if somebody searches LVP flooring installer near Surf City, we can adjust your Google business profile and have those keywords in there to ensure that you show up in that map pack when somebody searches.
So you can have a website that has the flooring that you're selling, and you can have your Facebook page and talking about your company. But if you don't go into Google My Business and put in these keywords there, then you're missing out on getting to the top of that list.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few places that we focus. Obviously, when we first take over somebody's Google My Business and manage it for them on our SEO plan, we're going to basically rewrite your description, which is around 750 characters, so a couple hundred words. We're going to identify the main keywords that should be showing up. Your
that
business
people
should
would
be,
search specifically.
Yeah, exactly. And that we want to show up for, right? If you're a pressure washing company, we don't want to be showing up when somebody searches pressure washer for sale. We want to be showing up when somebody searches for dock pressure washing or something like that. So we'll optimize your content that's in your description. Each one of your services that you put on Google, when you go into the back end of Google My Business where you actually edit everything, each service you have another 300 characters to describe that service, right? So that's just another place for Google to crawl. So rather than just having 5 or 6 services listed, you might have pressure washing service, driveway cleaning, driveway sealing, house pressure washing, right? Each one of those services we can now open up and write and add another 50, 60 words that is relevant to the service that somebody might be searching.
Okay. I had no idea that you could do all of this. And after we spoke on the phone, I did go to Google and I found the Google My Business and I fill in the initial 5 or 6 questions. And then I was thinking about all the things that you told me, that how you could dig in there. And I was like, still overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I did find where you post. I didn't know that you post. It feels to me like Google My Business is just building another website. Everything that you have on your website, you better be putting that into that Google My Business thing as well. It's just, I had no idea.
Google has one of the algorithms that's really stuck around for the longest time is what is called the trust algorithm. So basically, the whole idea here is when your business is on Google, it's going to scan your Google business profile, your social media, and your website. In order for Google to determine, hey, is this a trustworthy business, we have to make sure that all the content across the board is relevant to each other. We don't want to be catering our Google My Business to only flooring, but then our website is catered mostly to like framing houses and roofing, because that's basically going to tell Google, are these two businesses even the same? And that's going to just de-rank you. Basically, It's going to not allow you to show up. So the older style of SEO is like, that you're probably familiar with, is like writing blogs. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Blogs have to be roughly 500 to 1,000 words minimum. There's different ways that you structure them that kind of goes into the more technical side of things. But what we do is, rather than creating blogs that help your website rank below that map pack, that organic listing that we talked about, we actually do really in-depth posts on Google My Business. So you had mentioned you saw where you can post. So you get 1,500 characters for each Google My Business post. So what we do is we take like a form of content that we come up with. So maybe we're going to, depending on kind of what we know Google's favoring at that time of year, right now they're favoring like helpful content. right? So rather than trying to focus more like near me style posts, we're focusing how do I install vinyl flooring? What's the benefit of vinyl flooring? How long does LVP flooring last? We're writing short blog posts essentially in the Google Business posts. And we're not writing these because we think that people are going to scroll through your Google My Business and read all your posts like they do on social media. But it's just having more keywords and more content for Google to read and show you and show to their users or to the people that are searching.
With mini blogs.
Exactly.
Full of keywords.
Exactly.
You also mentioned you rename pictures with the location and you manage the reputation. Tell me, why would you need to rename the photos? And are these photos that other people have uploaded, like in reviews, or these pictures? Are we supposed to be uploading photos? Like, I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah. So there's two parts to SEO. There's three. There's on-page SEO, and that's like your keywords and stuff that we've been talking about. Then you have your technical SEO. So that's like how fast your website loads, your backend, what we call like metadata, descriptions, title, things like that. And then you have what's called backlinks, which we don't really do a whole lot with because they're not really as much of what we call a ranking factor anymore. But what you're talking about with the adjusting the images, when you have a website, if you have these huge, really crisp, clear images, that's beneficial for certain styles of companies. You're a hair salon, you want to have very nice, crisp images. But for the most part, what we want to do is we want to take those images off and compress the file as much as possible. So once we re-upload them, that they are a much smaller file, so your site's going to load a lot faster. When a client is doing the continued SEO, we actually do what's called geotagging. So basically the code inside the file, that image is going to, for anything to be online, it's all code, right? So in that code of the image has our geolocation, right? So Wilmington, Surf City, Topsail.
Yes.
So it's just another thing for Google to see.
You have an SEO strategist, a specialist, right? That knows all this stuff that we don't know.
Yeah.
That can do it for us.
Yeah. So basically, whenever we onboard a client for SEO, you're in the business. You're going to know what questions people are asking, what people have probably looked for, what people have probably searched before they contacted you. And we take that information and we build out our content plan or roadmap. Once we do that, I take their website, I upload it to another tool that's going to basically say, here's all your keywords and everything that you're currently ranking for. I'm going to analyze that against what they told me. And that's going to say, okay, month one, we need to optimize the website, right? Because they're saying that they want to rank for these keywords, but their website's currently ranking for these. So we're going to clean up the website. We run tests to make sure how fast is it loading, how big are their images, is there any broken JavaScript or code inside the website that we need to remove? While we're doing that, the SEO team is also starting to write out their content that we're going to be posting for the next 3 months. So we plan our content 3 months in advance.
Are you talking about content for social media too, or just Google?
Just Google for that. We don't really do a whole lot of social media because I always tell people, especially for service-based businesses and small businesses, it's so much better to have somebody just take over their social media that works for them specifically because people want to see it because they want to see what you're doing like in the moment. If we were doing somebody's social media, we're going to have to go out for one day, snap some pictures, do some videos.
Gotcha.
And that's what we're going to post for the next month.
Right.
So we don't do as much of that. I hope to get into that a little bit more as we start growing. That will be like a service that I want to add to have somebody that can come out once a week, take pictures, take videos and post them on social media, but we're not really there. Yeah. So basically it's those like little blog posts, mini blog posts that we talked about. So identifying the search volume of specific keywords, how many searches are these keywords getting every month, how many searches are these phrases. There's a lot.
I don't even know how you begin to monitor that.
There's just so much that goes into it. SEO can be a lot of behind the scenes. Typically the clients might not see what's going on as much. And so we try to be super transparent. So we actually provide them with a live interactive web page that has all of their content that we're going to be pushing for the next 3 months. Once a piece of content is published, our SEO strategist goes in there and links the content that we published to the content calendar. So rather than somebody going on their website or going on their Google Business and trying to see what we've posted, they can just open up their content calendar, flip to the month of January and see, okay, they posted this
That's a dashboard that you create for your clients.
Yeah,
They can go in and just see everything all in one place.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. That's also going to allow us, again, because we're not in their business every single day like they are, they might say, hey, I noticed you have this content coming out next month for what's the best style of shingle for a roofing company, right? So you have this content coming out next month. We've been getting a lot of storms. Let's push over to like, how do I know if my roof's leaking? Or so then I can jump in and say, oh yeah, you're right. That's what you've been getting a lot of calls about. We're going to pivot your strategy a little bit here to try to rank for what you're getting a lot of inquiries about.
So do you see a lot of success there when you take on a client and they're concerned about getting in that, not the top 3, but the 3 below that, you see them populate up there fairly quickly after working with you guys?
Yeah, I always tell people SEO is a long-term game. It's almost like investing. It's like compounding interest, right? It's just building on top of each other. Typically, it's going to take roughly 3-ish months before you really start seeing like your rankings.
I was wondering how long it might take.
There's so many factors that goes into it. It's going to depend on your industry, how popular your industry is, and your competition. Right. Basically, I tell people it takes around 3 months. We typically ask for our clients to sign on to a 6 or 12-month contract just because it can go like stagnant, right, at certain times of the year. Because again, we're not with SEO, you can't create demand. You can only capture the demand that is there. So if it's Christmas time, people probably aren't thinking about getting their kitchen remodeled or...
That's right. They're focused on how can I afford Christmas.
Typically, November and December client monthly meetings are typically the most stressful because that's where people are like, oh, I'm not getting any calls. I have to pull up like, hey, here's our search volume, right? You're doing XYZ. This is less than 100 searches in our area this month. Don't worry, it's not you, it's everybody. And when we do search it, you're still showing up number 1 or 2 in the map pack.
One more question on the SEO. Once you get up there, let's say you've accomplished that, you're in the number 4 position. Is it easy to maintain that position, or is it a constant ongoing battle to maintain that?
I would say it's pretty constant because everybody, everybody wants to get
everybody
there,
wants
right?
that spot.
So it's always a fight.
Yeah.
That's where our reputation management comes into play, and Dyno software helps a lot with that. Depending on how in depth with the software the client wants to go, every month they can either give us a spreadsheet of all the clients that they did. We'll send out review requests through SMS. Just try to get as many reviews as possible. When reviews do come through, we'll respond to them.
You can't take down negative reviews, right?
Can you? So you can.
You can.
Yep. So sometimes it can be a little bit of a fight with Google. I've helped quite a few clients dispute negative reviews. You have to have some proof like, hey, this person wasn't actually a client, or hey, this person was just mad because they cut me off, or they got fired or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they'll take it away really quick. Sometimes it takes a couple of months. I had one dispute. It took 24 hours because you could clearly tell it was just a fake review. Somebody probably brought on like another SEO agency that was trying to de-rank clients, which does happen. So that was a pretty easy one to get. But then we've also had some where I actually had to provide documentation. Hey, this person was never a client. This person reached out about an appointment when we didn't have an appointment available and the time frame that they wanted. They got mad, and here's the message that they sent us saying that they're threatening giving us a bad review.
So keep your receipts.
Yeah, keep your receipts. And if somebody threatens you, I'm going to leave you a bad review if you don't do this. Google really doesn't like that. And sometimes you'll have to try a few times because even though it is really hard to get in touch with Google at times, all of their like verification processes, the review disputes, those all do go through like actual human beings.
But that's good to hear that they actually do put a person on that job.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to your websites, how you convert visitors to customers with your websites.
Basically, we want our websites to be 3 things. They're fast, they're simple, and they're effective. Typically, we're looking at conversion rates on websites. We had a lot of clients, had a lot of websites. We were lucky to get, a 4% conversion rate on a website, meaning 100 people visited your website. We're lucky if 4 people give us their information. The sites that we build, that Dyno Digital builds, we want to shoot for above a 30% conversion rate. So if 100 people visit your website, we want at least 30 of them to have such an easy and clean and simple user experience that they were able to submit their information in a few clicks. I always tell people, if it takes you longer than 5 seconds to be like on the phone with somebody, like ringing from your website, then your website's too complicated. if you're a contractor, it should take no more than 10 seconds to submit your information for a quote. That's the biggest thing. Because we build them in our own software and on our own server, our sites are extremely fast. So that's a ranking factor with Google. We're not going to put, we will if people really want them, but we don't put videos, the slide in, slide outs. Like there's really no true data that says that those are factors that cause people to want to convert on your site. It really comes down to, can I get on your site? Can I submit my information? Is this what I'm looking for? So our structure for our websites are always main section with you have your logo, your navigation bar. And if you're on a mobile, it's a click to call phone number. So rather than having to copy a phone number and paste it, it's always
that.
It's always a button. Or we have like text us buttons, right? And then we have like our main call to action right before you start to scroll. Everything before you scroll on a website, that's called above the fold. So roughly 80 to 90% of all website traffic doesn't scroll below the fold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Especially and I'm talking mostly service-based businesses. People have an immediate problem that they need to be fixed. So they just want to get in touch with somebody who is the specialist in their field. If you're a salon or even a podcast, that's when it's not quite as important to have those like main call to actions above the fold because you're more of informative. And if you're a salon, they're going to want to see some previous work. They're going to want to see like the stylist that you work with. So for the most part, I would say 90% of the websites that we've built, when we're looking at the data, people are either hitting the website, hitting the homepage, and either calling somebody within the first 3 or 4 seconds, or they're hitting the homepage, they don't scroll, they go to the contact, they put in their information and leave the website. When we structure the sites, that's what we're keeping in mind because these business owners, as a small business, like you're not making money by people just like browsing your website because you're making money when somebody puts their information in, you can actually have a real human conversation with them and get them to either book your service or come out for a quote.
Okay.
Right?
Do you also do hosting?
Yeah. So
you do hosting.
Yeah, we charge $40 a month just for the hosting.
For the hosting.
Yeah, for the hosting.
Right. I'm assuming the answer is yes to this, but I just want the listeners to know when you build the website, you're building it not just for the laptop or your desktop computer, it's also for mobile devices like your iPads and your iPhones and such?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So first we've designed the entire website on desktop, and then we can adjust the formatting based on the device. They can also log on to the Dyno platform and they can see how many visits they got, how many visits to their Google My Business they got. We make it easy for them to just log on and say, okay, what's going on with my digital presence right now? How many visits did my website get? How many new contacts got created this month? Just like a very surface overview to actually encourage people to be a little bit more engaged with their website.
When a client comes to you and says, I need a website, I don't have any presence whatsoever, how long does it take you to go from beginning to end of that build?
Yeah, so it's typically 2 weeks from the time that we get their information. They'll do the call, they'll sign on, they'll sign the contract, we'll send the onboarding information. Takes them probably an hour to fill out. They'll put as much information as they can. We'll have one more quick call just to go over everything, make sure we're heading in the right direction. We'll get to work. We will build the website, and then we'll have a kickoff call to where they can make any adjustments. So they'll get like a revision process. But yeah, it typically takes around 2 weeks from the time that we get the information
2 weeks
from the client.
That's nothing. You would expect it to be more like 2 months.
Yeah, we've been able to do that just, again, because we know the industries and we know service-based businesses. We know what works. We know what doesn't. There's no testing. It's like, well, we have 3 or 4 different layouts that we're going to use for every single website based on, sometimes we'll let people pick. Most of the time, people, like the business owners, they don't really care. That's as long as it's bringing them clients. So we'll pick the template, pick the layout. They'll give us as many images as they can. We can pull stock images. And yeah, we just get to work and try to and we'll have the website launched in about 2 weeks.
That's so great.
We're not going to be blowing you up. Sometimes I'll shoot like a text message or something over if I just have a question. What shingles do you use? Or do you work on Saturday and Sunday? It's not a weekly call throughout a 2-month span. Again, it goes back to fast, simple, and effective.
So what is your final message on the websites to our listeners today?
I think that every business owner should have a website. If you do not have a website, it's going to be a lot harder to grow your business. And if you do have a website, I just encourage you to time yourself. I always tell people to time yourself. How long does it take you to submit your contact information? How long does it take your website to load? If it takes longer than a couple seconds to load, know that in that couple seconds, somebody's probably going to leave your website. If it takes more than 3 to 5 seconds to call your business and not just find the phone number, but actually clicking send on your website, especially if you're a service-based business, you are going to want to update that. And it shouldn't take you more than 10 to 15 seconds to submit a quote request with information on your website. If people ever have questions or want me to take a look at a website, I'm always happy to jump on and provide guidance and help people out there. I think a lot of people tend to think that getting a website built is going to be like a stressful, overly expensive process. It doesn't have to be. We try to make it as easy on the business owner as possible. We know you have 10,000 things on your plate as a business owner, and getting your website built should really just have to be like, hey, I need a website built. I'm going to use you guys. Let me know when it's done. That's how we want it to go.
Perfect. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. Okay, we did talk a little bit earlier about your software because I love it so much. It's the Dyno Digital software, and I think it's very impressive what you've created. Colin did end up sending me a link and gave me a demo of the software, and I just fell in love with it. Let's go over the tools that you built into the software. First of all, let's talk about the conversations.
Of all the clients that are using it, conversations is the most popular aspect of the software. Basically, it's a unified inbox. So we connect.
It's incredible, actually.
Yeah. And it's super powerful, right? So we connect basically, so Google My Business, email, text, phone calls, social media. So Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and WhatsApp now as well can be integrated into that. So now when the business owner is talking to somebody, it's all in one place. They can message and have this conversation. They're not bouncing from Facebook to Instagram to Google to talk to people.
That's what I'm doing right now, and I find it incredibly frustrating. And I have missed messages. It was never an intention to ignore anyone who wanted to be on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are going between phones, text messages, emails, Facebook Messenger, a business suite for Facebook and Instagram, and it's just a lot. So when I saw your demo, not only are you compiling all of these messages into one convenient location, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I can now use the Dyno Digital app and respond to each one all in one place. I did not even know that was possible.
Yeah, it's super powerful. I mean, to respond to, if somebody reaches out, if somebody messages you on Instagram, it's going to come through that. If somebody texts you, it's going to come through that. If somebody calls you, one, you're going to know it's a call about a potential lead because it will be a separate phone number. We don't add like your personal phone number to it. So it is a separate phone number that we verify with the phone companies. So when somebody calls that phone number, you're going to pick it up and it's going to say, you have a new lead from XYZ, press 1 to connect now, or press 2 to send them to voicemail. Rather than the age of people carrying around 2 cell phones, it's just all in one single place. And then same thing with when we build a website, we can put the chat widget on your site.
I was just about to ask about the web chat widget. So those messages will also come to the same place.
We have 2 options with the web chat. We have live chat, which I don't really recommend to people. What we do recommend is that when we set this up, the person will put in their information, name, phone, email, they'll hit send, and basically that's going to initiate a text message conversation. So now they don't have to stay on your website and wait for you to reply like a live chat.
Yeah.
We have the option for that if you have somebody that can sit at their desk all day and respond, but most small businesses don't. So we come in and we try to make it personal, right? So when they submit the web chat, it will send them like an automated message because like for compliance reasons, we have to include reply stop to opt out, right? So that's always going to seem like the first message that anybody gets is always going to have that. So we'll say, hey, saw you reached out on our website. John's going to contact you in a couple minutes. And then we'll wait 2 minutes, send them another text message. Hey, Lisa, this is Colin with Dyno Digital. Saw you just reached out on our website. What can I help you with? Or do you have time to chat or whatever? So now we've just initiated that conversation with the person and they're not sitting there waiting because they get a message that says, hey, Colin's going to reach out through text in a couple minutes, right?
Oh, that comes up in the chat widget. And then now they can transition to their phone and walk away from their computer.
Exactly.
I really like that.
Yeah.
One of the more powerful tools also, there's a lot of tools in here, is your payments. Tell us a little bit about the payments.
Yeah, so we integrate with Stripe, and this allows you to basically build invoices, right? You can send invoices that people can click and pay online. If you are like a service-based business, my cousin actually uses a software. He owns the Topsail Island surf school in Surf City. So he uses that. So your phone now also turns into a card reader. So when you're using the app on your phone, you can just put in how much you want to spend, how much you're going to charge. And all they have to do is touch their card to your phone and you can accept the payment that way.
Wow.
You don't have to have a payment gateway or anything. So that's like super beneficial. We also have a DocuSign style system built in for contracts and estimates. So you can send a contract, people can sign it. You can have some automations built in there. Like when I send a website contract over, they agree to the price, they sign, they agree to the contract, they sign. Once they do that, it generates the invoice. I get a notification to approve it. I approve the invoice. Once I approve the invoice, it sends to the client. They pay the invoice and that automatically starts our onboarding process, right? So the payments is, again, super, super beneficial.
Very automated for the person who just doesn't have time for all that.
Everything.
Those are two very heavy pieces, and it's really hard to explain to people. Seeing the demo makes just all the difference. Yeah. But you have a lot more built in there. You've got a calendar and appointments. Yeah,
so calendar and appointments is basically exactly how it sounds. A lot of people have heard of Calendly. I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's a little bit better than Calendly. You have a little bit more functionality in there. The whole thing about the software is it's all customized to fit your business, right? So if you're a salon, we can set up service calendars for people to book specific hair appointments at specific times with specific stylists. Or maybe if you're like a gym, right? You can rent out individual rooms for a certain amount of time or equipment. But you can have people pay when they book for a slot. If you're like a salon, once they pay for the service and the payment goes through, that's when it shows up on the business owner's calendar. So you can see all of your appointments through one calendar in the software.
Let's talk about contacts. Now, my question about contacts, I know that you maintain a contact list within the software. Is this pulling the contact information from all those different ways that people communicate with us?
Yeah, exactly. So we typically will
Even the socials?
Even the socials. So basically any contact that comes through any of your platforms the software is connected to, you'll be able to see. And then you can also run reports like how many people reached out on Instagram, how many people reached out on Facebook, how many people reached out through text message, how many people called, right?
Within the Dyno Digital software, you mentioned marketing.
In the software, we have, a lot of people have probably heard of MailChimp, things like that. So we have email marketing. So you can build email campaigns, email blasts.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So that's another service that I could eliminate.
Yep.
By moving over to Dyno Digital.
You've actually had Danielle with Upstairs Hampstead. She uses our software to send all of her emails. So if you get an email from her, that came from our software.
Okay, so now I can eliminate my accounting monthly payment, and now I can eliminate my MailChimp. Okay, let's keep going because I'm all about eliminating my monthly payments. So next we're going to talk about scale your business, and this is basically a Dyno Digital partnership. Tell me a little bit about this.
So basically we call it our partnership package. So this is more catered to businesses who already have some employees or maybe doing $1 million a year and want to scale up, but they're still stuck in the weeds. Like they want to remove themselves from the business, but they haven't made the commitment to pull themselves out. So we're basically stepping in as like you're a fractional COO at that point, or COO, CMO. Right. So we want to make sure that our ultimate goal is that when people reach out to your business, that they're getting converted as quickly as possible. So that's usually going to start with their sales team. We'll help people build a process for their sales team to keep up with leads, make sure that leads are staying in touch. And also, once businesses are getting to this larger scale, they're typically starting to have like other departments. So now it's not just working with the business owner. Now we have to position ourselves as somebody that needs to build a business structure and understand when a lead comes in, it needs to notify the salesperson. The salesperson then needs to talk to them to schedule a quote, right? The salesperson sends them the contract, they sign it. That's going to notify like maybe a project manager who's then going to take over doing what they do. Once they're done, then it's going to go to fulfillment. And so now eliminating that interaction in the office, allowing the business owner, because at that point, the business is their baby, right? That's why business owners, I think, have such a hard time removing themselves because they want to know what's going on. So now all the business owner has to do is log on to the software and they can see, okay, I have this many opportunities in discovery. I have this many proposals sent. This many people have signed proposals this month and it's sitting here. It's helping them see like the big picture of what's going on.
The very current, up-to-date visual of where everything is along this course that you're tracking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we'll start from scratch. What are the stages of your sale? We'll build out the pipeline. That's usually step one. So we can track this many leads came in, this many leads closed. From there, then we'll say, okay, what's your onboarding process for a new client, right? Let's identify each individual stage. Who's in charge of each individual stage? It works as like a project management system. So now the business owner can see your bottlenecks. Now the business owner can jump on and say, hey, I noticed you got 3 things in here that's overdue. Like, what's going on? That pivots the business owner from working in the business and just do it myself to saying, how can I help?
So just to be clear, you can create a pipeline within Dyno Digital for your client that's still outside of this partnership that you've created. Yeah. You're taking a piece of that partnership and giving it to people if they want to have that service. Yeah. But you can do that on a much larger scale if you do this operational and marketing team outsourcing.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you sign up and just want to use the software, you're going to have access to just being able to build a basic CRM sales pipeline. When we help people set their software up, I always upload just like a basic sales pipeline. Usually it's prospect in, qualifying, sales call, closed, right?
But it's like a Salesforce.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot simpler than Salesforce.
Yes,
yeah.
Sure
Salesforce is, Salesforce
the
is
beast.
Yeah. Salesforce is definitely, I would say we're more in line with people might be aware of HubSpot. So we're similar to HubSpot in a way with more competitive pricing and you can customize it a little bit more. One thing that we like to do for clients that have continued monthly clients and that have like client relations managers, we'll build out automation for client sentiment. So if you have a client and they're mad about something, maybe somebody blew grass into the mulch bed and they're frustrated, they can mark that in the contact field and on their sentiment score, meaning we need to make sure that we're on our best behavior or that we're like going the extra mile to make sure they stay on as a client. We really can't put it into words of what the scope of the software can do to its full extent.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we can streamline and optimize your process, build the process for you to follow. And if you follow that process, that's going to allow you to focus on removing yourself from the business.
So are there any new services in your pipeline for Dyno Digital that you're particularly excited about and that small businesses need to be aware of?
Yeah, so basically we created what's called a digital growth plan. You'll fill out this survey. It's long. It's not super short. It probably takes 10 minutes to fill out, but it's really just going to make you think about your business. And then what that'll do is that'll kick that back to us. It'll take us a couple days, but we're going to build out just a digital growth plan for you based on.
I love that.
Yeah. So we'll pull a marketing audit, show you where your whole digital presence is at currently. And then from there, we'll provide you with a nice little printout. So we'll build out just one thing to do every single day of the week for your digital presence. Okay. So maybe it's posting on Google. We'll provide the keywords that we think you should be targeting. And then we will just do a quick consult and then we'll give that to you. And that way you can just print that out, put it on your desk. So I know on Monday, I need to make my Google My Business post. On Tuesday, I need to ask people for reviews. On Wednesday, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. And then once you fill that out, we're not going to bombard you trying to get you to sign up for our service, but we're all going to just reach out and see how things are going, see where we can help, see where we can't. We're trying to just be that resource in our community and throughout small businesses to just make digital marketing a more attainable goal and not something that just sounds like it'd be nice to do all this marketing if I had the budget, where really we can help, we can build this digital growth plan for you, give it to you, provide guidance where we can, and connect you with other business owners and really just grow the network, because that's where everything's going to come from. That's really like what we're really trying to get out there this year, is just get as many people to fill out that growth plan and start thinking about.
Is there a fee for that?
So that's completely free. Yeah. So we'll do that completely free. So you just go to dynodigital.io/growth, fill out again, it's going to take you probably 10 minutes. I encourage people to put as much information as they can. It's going to ask in-depth questions. It's going to ask about revenue. It's going to ask it might even ask some like touchy questions for some business owners, but it's all good information, right? And that's also going to help us grow our network. So if I have a client that owns a roofing company and they get a lot of questions about flooring, I can say, I have this person filled out their growth plan. They do flooring, and I can connect people.
So
right?
cool.
So really just helping business owners build a network.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's free and super beneficial.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. What's not to love about that? I do a thing at the end of every episode, and we're going to continue that in season 2. So with our final thoughts, I'd like to ask you, is there one thing that you want the listeners to know about you or Dyno Digital before we finish up here?
One thing that I want you to know about me and Dyno Digital as a company, we look at every single person that reaches out to us as an opportunity to just make a connection and help out where we can. I'm not going to immediately try to start selling you some service. I'm always going to tell you what services we offer. I'm never going to sell a service that you don't need. Our goal is to be a trusted resource for small businesses to help them grow throughout the community and navigate the digital world.
Thank you for what you're doing for the small business owner. I admire people who are willing to put everything on the line and start a business. And I also admire people who are out there helping them be successful. And I think that you really, with the software that you created and the services that you're offering, there's just so many ways that you can help that one man show get a leg up. Yeah. And I think we could all use a leg up, especially in these times. So thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the time you sitting here with me and talking with me. The last thing that we need to do is give out your contact information.
Yeah, so the best way to reach out to us, you can either call or text us. Our phone number is 910-469-1681. Or you can reach out on our website. It's dynodigital.io, DYNO digital.io. And I encourage people to, if you have some time, fill out that digital growth plan. That's dynodigital.io/growth. And let's talk. Even if you just have any questions at all, reach out to us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, any way that you want to reach out to us. Our email is colin@dynodigital.io.
COLIN.
Yep.
At dynodigital.io.
Yeah. And that's my personal email. So if you want to email me directly and you have questions, feel free to shoot it my way.
Okay. And I'll have all that information for you in the show notes, along with his links to his Instagram page and Facebook page. So thank you, listeners, for joining us today. I hope you got a lot out of that. And if you're a small business owner, I do hope that this is something that can help you. And thank you again, Colin, for being on Topsail Insider and being my very first guest of season 2.
Thank you so much for having me. It was super fun.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode of Topsail Insider, please show your support by clicking the follow or subscribe button on your favorite podcast listening platform. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Please also go to topsailinsider.com and join our mailing list by clicking on the Make Me a Topsail Insider button. While you're there, you can click the Send Me a Voicemail button and let me know exactly what you're thinking. Your message just might be on an episode of Topsail Insider. You can email me at krista@topsailinsider.com or call or text me at 910-800-0111. Thank you for listening and supporting Topsail Insider and our local businesses and nonprofits. These are our neighbors and our friends, and together we build a mighty and a beautiful community I'm super proud to be a part of. I'll see you around Topsail.